So instead of legislation, in my opinion, it takes education. The whites have to be re-educated so that the racism that they have in their heart can be eliminated, and our people have to be re-educated so that we will know how to do something for ourselves instead of waiting for others to do it for us all the time.
Well, how will that re-education be brought about?
Well, just as in World War II, this country could use its news media to propagandize and make the whole American public love the Germans and the Japanese, rather love the Russians and the Chinese and hate the Germans and the Japanese. And then after the war, they changed it and made the American public love the Germans and love the Japanese, hate the Russians and hate the Chinese, which shows that they can make the American public love whom they will and hate whom they will. And that same process can be used to re-educate the American public and show white people how to love black people and show black people how to do something to stand on our own feet and solve our own problems.
Peace to the party, peace to the party. So you can tell right off the bat what's the mission for the day. All right. So we got started with this with the news. And I don't think that for a lot of the new subscribers don't understand why we chose to do this. All right. So media is very powerful. As you can hear, that's Malcolm X speaking back in the day, talking about the power within media, the black versus white, Democrat versus Republican, liberal versus the conservative. None of this is new, right? However, people really depend on their media sources. And I'm pretty sure every one of us knows somebody that whatever comes on the news, they believe it to be 100% fact. We can use, what just happened with the C-19 as a recent example, right? Let's just keep it real, right? The media had people shook, but that's just another version of what we already know to be true, all right? So with that being said, we're going to double down on that, and we're going to spend a little time showing and proving how to be real, this goes so far back, but I ain't here to give you a history lesson today. I'm just your homeboy with the news, putting you up so you can go do your own research. But for those of y'all who are interested, on the Autonomous Party channel, every Sunday we have history builds and where we dig further into the truth, right? But for here on the news, I want to show y'all what the mission is behind us doing the media, right? Because it's long been a corruption in the media. And when I say media, I ain't just talking newspapers and the TV stations, right? It's way deeper than that. It goes to the music, right? It goes to the movies, the TV shows. All of this is in collaboration to be able to move and steer people in a certain direction. It's not black or white. It's all people, right? But we speaking from our community, we gonna double down and really see what that looks like. You know what I mean? So first thing we gonna do, all right, we're gonna look at the other side. But this time we're gonna go across the water. I want y'all to hear something about how the government has been in business with the media, right? To paint certain narratives, to make certain enemies, right? And just overall steer the direction of how people think about certain things. All right. So this is Al Jazeera. So, fair use. I just want y'all to be able to see, this is a very interesting video talking about how the government works within CIA, right? The CIA, Hollywood, they came together to talk about certain narratives and make sure that certain agendas got pushed. This is not my opinion. I'm your homeboy with the news, but I do my research. So I want y'all to check this out, right? And we're going to have a further discussion on this. So in the comments, let me know what you think. Of course, like this video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you click the notifications. All right. So let's take it over here to Al Jazeera and let's see what they got for us.
Of accusations of sexual misconduct against Harvey Weinstein.
Watch any big budget war movie or take in a spy thriller, and you could walk away not knowing just how much your movie experience was shaped by the Pentagon or CIA. However, a trove of official documents obtained under US Freedom of Information laws and published this year detail the dealings between filmmakers and intelligence officials at Langley, Virginia, the CIA headquarters.
Probably the best known are Zero Dark 30 and Argo, but they've also assisted the television show Homeland.
How do we deal with homegrown violent jihadists?
They've also assisted Alias.
You work for the very enemy you thought you were fighting.
24.
Tell me where the device is!
A CBS series called The Agency.
Then he slit his throat.
They assisted a film called The Sum of All Fears, starring Ben Affleck.
Captain Jack Ryan, CIA.
Charlie Wilson's War is a really good example where they maintain the idea that, are we really doing the right thing by arming the Mujahideen, the forerunners of the Al-Qaeda terrorist organization in Afghanistan in the 1980s? They kind of question that in a kind of jokey way, like the last caption in the film Charlie Wilson's War is something like, we came, we saw, but then we mucked up the end game, or some joke. It's like, no, that's not what you did actually, and you know it because the original script and the original book that you base this on doesn't say that. You armed terrorists in a really horrific conflict. It's the whole organization behind it at a systematic level, and that turned Charlie Wilson's War into this saccharine, benign movie.
Throughout the 1990s, the CIA worked with Hollywood very specifically on movies that portrayed the CIA as sort of a heroic force protecting America. Most of the movies were based on Tom Clancy books, actually. So you had A Hunt for Red October and that entire franchise. The lead character, Jack Ryan, is this like super heroic figure, and he's like constantly taking down bad guys and saving America, saving the world from various threats, whether it's Islamic terrorism or the IRA or ultimately white supremacists.
Between them, the CIA and the US Department of Defense have had varying levels of input, from simply clarifying points for authenticity to actually writing parts of scripts on more than 1,800 movies and TV shows. When it comes to influencing filmmakers, shaping the story, the Pentagon is usually in a stronger negotiating position than the CIA. Because of the hardware at its disposal, it can shut down a movie before a scene is ever shot.
The Department of Defense is actually a much more powerful player in the entertainment industry for basically financial reasons. The Department of Defense has expensive toys. They have submarines, they have aircraft carriers, they have tanks, and they have the personnel to operate each of those things. So if a filmmaker wants to make a war movie, they often will approach the Department of Defense and basically ask to borrow that equipment. And the Department of Defense will say, maybe, but can I see your script? And they will either say, this is great, we love the way that the military is portrayed in this, we will go ahead and collaborate with you. Or they may say, we hate the way that we're portrayed and refuse to participate.
When the Pentagon does agree to support a film, there can be some scripting strings attached. And the Vietnam War is clearly a sore point. In The Hulk, a reference to a US operation that poisoned Vietnamese farmland was removed. And in the Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies, a suggestion that the US did not win the war was cut out. In Iron Man, a reference to soldier suicides was removed, again at the Pentagon's insistence. The CIA's presence in Hollywood is harder to detect. It goes back to the early days of the Cold War and was designed to counter a propaganda effort coming out of the Soviet Union. The CIA placed undercover agents in major studios where they monitored left-wing screenwriters and directors. This was at the height of Cold War paranoia, and Hollywood was under the scrutiny of the US Congress.
Is investigating alleged communist influence and infiltration in the moving picture industry.
The agency started influencing scripts. One senior executive at Paramount Pictures, working covertly for the CIA, described how, to counter what the Soviets were saying about the persecution of African Americans, quote, well-dressed Negroes, unquote, would be planted in certain films.
What happens in the 1990s is that the Cold War ends, and all of a sudden the CIA is left without a visible, viable enemy to justify its existence. they were going to continue, they had to do something to improve their public image. And one of the responses to that crisis was to begin to work with Hollywood to convince the American public that, and Congress, that they were still worth being an institution.
In 1996, the CIA's Entertainment Liaison Office in Hollywood began offering free support to movies that featured the agency. Chase Brandon, an intelligence agent and cousin of actor Tommy Lee Jones, was the CIA's first liaison officer. He's credited as a technical advisor on a host of Hollywood blockbusters, such as The Recruit, starring Al Pacino as a veteran CIA officer.
Our failures are known. Our successes are not.
In reality, Brandon was far more than a mere advisor on The Recruit. He helped pitch the film to Disney, that eventually produced and distributed the movie, and was involved in the script writing.
The Recruit.
As another...
So you can see, right? I wanted to let that whole thing rock out because this is documented history. All right. You can look this up, Operation Mockingbird, right? You know how we do here. We read, right? I'm just your homeboy with the news, but I'm putting you on to the sources to where you can go and check this stuff out for yourself. Okay. Because I'm telling you right now that throughout history, there has been tons of reasons for the government to want to influence the media. Okay. Propaganda. This goes back well into the 12 and 1300s. You get what I'm saying? It's a new time in media to where independent news sources are more important than ever, because the way in which messages get shaped, it means a lot. Now, I know we try to act like, such and such don't got me brainwashed. Man, listen, it's a proven fact that the stuff that you consume, whether visually, audibly, however you consume it, it does affect you. If you listen to nothing but murder, murder, kill, kill songs all day, more than likely it's going to put you in a more aggressive state of mind versus if you listen to classical jazz or something like that. You feel me? It's just common sense. But we've been so wired to think otherwise through the media, right? So this is what we're trying to prove and show you, that we need to be mindful of this, right? We need to care about what's going on. We need to do our own research, and we need to support the independent media that's working for us and trying to do the right things and showing other perspectives, because it's clearly like, it's not even trying to put no fluff on it. Like, it's literally a war against the people when you pit them against each other with in a constant state of fear, competition, and things of that sort, right? And then within the Black community, man, our culture is so gone, man. All they want to show is the worst of us on purpose, right? You got a lot of people who speaking out about the rap game, for especially, you know what I mean? The movies, think about it. All we get is slave movies. All we get is movies to where we're shown as drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? Pimps and hoes, shit like that. That's the majority in the way in which they show us. There's no the Cosby shows, where they at? The shows about people going to college, different world. You know what I mean? My Wife and Kids. We need a variety in the way in which we get our media, but this is showing you that it was agenda. It's straight up saying that, hey, look, when the war's not popping, they putting wars on the media right here on the people, making sure they're in control, giving government incentives to put certain movies out to portray them in a certain light. Come on now, like, what would they, if the media wasn't important, why would they go to them great lengths, you feel me, to make sure that people is participating and listening? And I ain't gonna lie, think about right now, you get cop shows that come out all the time to put cops in a certain light, to always say, hey, this is why we need to keep our force at this maximum level of people. That's how you get the tax dollars. All of this comes together, fam. So we're going to get to the last topic of the day before we get out of here. I want to do something a little different today because a lot of people been asking, what made y'all want to start covering the news? We're known as basically some historians, and all of a sudden here we come with the news. Well, this is why, right? Because everything that happened back then, it still matters right now. And we're trying to show y'all how it all lines up. And there's so many different layers to what's going on. So it's a campaign year. So we on it harder than ever, because with all this division going on, we trying to be a voice of reason and cover the news in a way that's not biased to either side or any situation. It's just strictly going after the truth, right? So we can be better, do better, and have the right information. So just recently, State of the Union just popped off with Joe Biden. Now, a lot of people been wondering where Joe at, because Buddy been absent. He been sleep on the job. They say they call him Sleepy Joe, but out of all presidents, like, we hardly ever hear from this dude. But he couldn't miss the State of the Union on the campaign year, right? So for those of you who may not be interested, this is who we going after. We trying to get our people, right? Not just the elite, so-called elite. We want the common everyday person. I don't care where you're at. You need to know what's going on out here, because it's getting real, right? So with that being said, I advise everybody to go watch that State of the Union address, because, boy, it was something else. It's real deal entertainment watching this dude Biden, because, like, dude, he just ain't got it, man. He just don't got it. We got to be real. So, hey, I want y'all, we're going to hit a couple quick highlights of it. Your homeboy with the news, I got you. I'm going to put you on some quick highlights. We're going to break them down together, and then we're going to get up out of here. But definitely, in the comments, I want y'all to tap in, right? Let me know what you think when you go check it. When you go check it out, let me know what you think. All right, because I'm very curious.
I believe that given the opportunity
to see what y'all gonna say after you get a chance to see it, because, boy, I'm telling you, it's hilarious. That boy Joe up there looking 110. He can barely get this off, but he trying. He know Trump got that pressure on him, man. Let's see what he got to say. I want y'all to hear for yourself. We're gonna hit the highlights, chop it up, and we're gonna go from there. All right, let's rock.
A majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far. I'm told my predecessor called members of Congress in the Senate to demand they block the bill. He feels political win. He viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner, not really.
Yeah, not really. Stupid ass boy. Hold on, somebody on his ass. Look, he pissed. Somebody on his ass. He got to go regroup. Oh, look at her. She draped up and dripped out, ain't it? She banging for Trump. She came in here trumped out, ready to go. Oh, matter of fact, if you remember, if I'm not mistaken, that's I think it's Marjorie Taylor Greene. But this was the same lady at the meeting for Biden, for Hunter Biden. She was the one who was coming out with the receipts, talking about the bank information. This was the same lady, right? Now she banging for Trump. Look at her, dressed up, ready to go. She interrupting. Let's see what she's saying, though. Let's see if I can hear it better.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of thousands of people being killed by illegals?
You the one bringing them in, bro.
My heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand. But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border.
He sounds like he knows from experience.
If they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth it taking the chance of the $8,000. But if it's only 6 months,
well, they
6
objecting
weeks,
up in here.
the idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and come all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly. Folks,
look at they in there tight.
I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people, get this bill done. We need to act now.
Hey, now check it out. speak about what we just learned with the media, right? You can clearly see it's plenty of people in here who is not going for this shit that he's saying. He really sounds ridiculous. I watched the whole thing personally. We just hitting the highlights right now. But I swear to y'all, he sounds ridiculous up there. And you can see plenty of people, they got the stone face looking at this dude.
And if my predecessor is watching, instead of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together. But that's what he apparently here's what he will not do.
What?
I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country. I will not.
Look at that. We ain't seen you neither.
Separate families. I will not ban people because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border. Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers. And so much more. But unlike my predecessor, I know who we are as Americans. We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new. Home to Native Americans, whose ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of every place, from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland. Some to flee persecution, to chase dreams that are impossible anywhere but here in America. That's America. And we all come from somewhere, but we're all American.
So, listen, man, I'm telling you right now, go check it out for yourself, because bro sound ridiculous. But I'm going to shock y'all real quick. It's one thing I do agree with him on. At the end, he say, knowing your family history and how it ties to you now being American, he right about that part. We need to know our genealogy. We need to know our ancestry. We need to know our history. We need to be in tune with what's going on, so people can't just tell and do us any kind of way, right? And we need to be having open conversations within our community, not just, oh man, we supposed to only do Democrat because we black. Ain't no conversation. That is crazy. That's not smart business. That's not smart politics. No matter how you want to play it, it's never a smart idea to only hear one offer. You feel what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. So this is what we on. It's a campaign year. We hitting this all year. All right. We're going to be covering what's going on with the election. I can't wait till it get down for some debates, because ain't no way Biden can stand up in front of Trump on no debate. I'm just being honest. Like, come on. Go listen to how he talking in the State of the Union. For those of y'all who support, hey, come to the comments. Come tell me. We can chop it up, right? But as you know, it's your homeboy with the news. I'm just out here reporting, doing what I do, right? Appreciate all the love. Like always, keep it positive. Keep it pushing. I'm out of here, man. Peace.
This is all the love I had. I can't get it back, I won't get it back, Gave all the love I had. One motherfucking 3 nigga. I can't get it back, I won't get it back, Can't get it. This is all the